Welcome to the Champ We Are United podcast, the number one football comic based podcast. Whether it's trying to figure out exactly how many clubs the safest hands of soccer Gordon Stewart played for, or in fact, when the story was set, there can be no doubt this is your number one place for all your fictional football comic book hero knowledge. I am your host, Paul Tangent Richardson, and this is episode 90.
Episode 90.
Episode 90. Bloody hell.
Dog 90.
Thanks for I'll give it the big build. I really felt that in the studio, gents. Thanks for that. Well, you've probably heard some voices there, but I'm joined in the studio by members of our normal team and a very special guest. So let me introduce them to you. Does he have issues? Doesn't he have issues? One thing we do know, he appeared in 2 panels in Champ Edition number 32, but he doesn't like to mention it. Our founding member and our leader, Goal. How are you tonight?
I'm very well, Tangent. That's a very lovely intro. Thank you for mentioning it. That, I don't like to mention it, and I'm not sure I have before, but many thanks. And it's lovely to be here again.
Thanks, Goal. Next up, taking a break from counting how many times Roy Race donned the goalkeeper gloves and managed to not only keep a clean sheet, but also get in on the score sheet himself. It's Mute Button Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Paul. Hello, great intro. Welcome.
He really does struggle. He does struggle saying mute button Matt, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
I thought I'd got away with it this episode.
Yeah,
but,
no, never. Sorry to interrupt. Carry on, Matt.
No, go on, carry on.
Well, fresh from revealing where the safest hands of soccer started his career in our last pod, it's Bygone Berrigan. Hello, Bygone.
Hello, you okay? Good evening, everybody.
Evening. Right, now, joining us in the studio today is a very special guest. He beat off readers of Tiger, Battle, 2000 AD and Eagle, the 1983 Mattel Electro Olympics champion, Malcolm Dickenson.
Hey, he's a rat, Bobby Dazzler.
No, that's David Dickinson, Goal.
Oh, sorry.
God, wrong. Oh, God. Sorry, I do apologise, Mal. Go on. Welcome,
No
Mal.
problem whatsoever. Hello, everybody. I'm here to be the ghost of Christmas past. Here to haunt everybody 41 years later.
Oh, it's great. It's great to have you on board. And of course, we'll touch upon all of that. I'm sure listeners will remember that your name has been mentioned in previous pods, and it's fantastic that you're with us tonight in the studio. So before I get to the agenda, I'm just going to have a quick shout out to Simo, our voice of reason. I hope that you're well and that the technical difficulties that you're having that are keeping you away will be resolved soon. But without further ado, I shall go on to the agenda. We're going to kick off with the social media, otherwise known as Melvin's Musings. Matt will take us through that. And then, of course, it's on to our interview with Malcolm Dickenson, yes, the Mattel Electro Olympics champion. And we've got some questions about that, because I still wonder if he still holds the title, but I'm sure we'll find that out in the interview. And then if we've got time, we've got a new section. We've decided whether Goal's got issues or not. We're going to have the rather indulgent collector's corner, which we'll go through. And then, of course, we'll have our usual end of the pod where we go through all the ways and means that you can contact us. So, Matt, as Roy Race would, donning the gloves, roll the ball out to his fullback. Please progress us up the field with the social medias. Feedback.
What the bloody hell is he talking about?
I don't know. Usually, if it's Millwall, we just lump it up now, so we don't progress it up.
Come on.
We don't progress anywhere now.
We are not the number one football comic podcast without being cultured in our play.
Okay, let's just attempt culture just for once. Okay, so Melvin's Musings. Do we get a theme tune?
Yeah, we do, but unfortunately, it's the yearly holiday for the Kings of Leon and East 17 and Kraftwerk and Level 42. So someone else has come in to do the theme tune. So it's only Tony Basil, isn't it? So are we ready? Are we ready?
Has she brought her pom-poms?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying anything from the angle I'm looking at her.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Yes.
Go for it.
Hey, Melvin, you're so fine. Your musings really blow our mind. Hey, Melvin. Hey, Melvin. I can reassure you that the Kings of Leon will be back next episode. And Mal is looking at us going, what
Wow.
have I let myself in for?
I don't know. You did well there, Mal, getting out of the way as she pranced across the studio with those pom-poms in the air.
Right. Anyway, yes. So social media feedback. So we'll start with the Facebook site, the Royal the Rovers 40 years after Facebook site. Obviously, last episode was 89, and we had Bygone Berrigan did Safest Hands meets Royal the Rovers. Tangent, you did the story of Kevin Nicholish.
Yeah, Super Kevin Nicholish.
Super Kevin Nicholish when he signed for United, and I did some more times at Roy winning goal. So here's some feedback from Mr. Musings himself. Where's he gone? Can't find it. Here we go. Champ, we are United team deliver drama-filled pod classico. And he goes, where does this music even start? The opening stage saw 15-year-old Gordon Stewart played for Chatterley's non-league Brookham United against Roy Race's mighty Manchester Rovers in a muddy, marvellous third-round FA Cup tie. Bygone Berrigan, when Gordon met Roy, featured for 1978, was a special one. Meanwhile, just before the halfway mark, Gull's got issues with Gary Lineker's hot shot. In fact, 25 issues to be precise, plus a further 27 when hot shot merged with Roy the Rovers. Although Gull had clearly done his homework on hot shot and looked imperious. In the absence of Dorothy Cotton, Tangent Paul was employed in the sweeper role for some vital 80s. Oh, God, I've lost it now.
Summer special, annual night.
80s holiday and annual special, yeah. And the second half roared into life with Tangent Paul tackling the story of Kevin Nicholish and his big money move from Southport to Riverton. Tangent Paul really whipped the fans up into a frenzy with his technical area with his relentless foot to the floor approach. At times, Tangent was almost as revved up as reporter Harry Palmer after United manager Joe Pearson had told him he was on his way to the Cameron Hotel in Glasgow to secure the signature of King Kevin. The drama didn't end there, though. During stoppage time, mute button Matt went between the sticks to bring us the final part of his Royal Race Goes in Goal feature. Of course, it was real Roy the Rovers stuff from mute button Matt. With a team performance like this, it's difficult to single out any individuals out, but the tangential one.
I'm loving that. Come on, it's got a stick, Goal. It's got a stick.
One. No way. Probably just gets the nod for the Man of the Match award. Different gravy, lads. Thank you very much. Cheers, Trevor. Top musings once again. Great stuff. Brian McLaughlin, again on the site, says Kevin Nicholish, obviously a Keegan Nicholas Dalglish fusion. And Simo went back to him saying that actually, good shout, but he reckons his playing style didn't actually meet any of those players. And Simo being Simo goes into about 3 pages on why he
voice of reason as to why he doesn't quite.
Yeah, and nobody can argue with that because he's absolutely factually right, of course. Well done, Simo, top man. On the mighty world of British comics, Nicholas Hill said, really like Champ, a great comic. Thank you very much, Nicholas. And on the Champ We Are United site, we had Adrian Lord. Theme tune.
Welcome to the House of Lord. It's his feedback time. Yeah, as I said.
Episode 90 is new theme tune time by the sounds of it.
No. They're on their holiday. They got paid holiday. So they're back next time. Kings of Leon.
He's 17's on holiday with Kings of Leon. That's not.
But Madness and
it's not a place I want to be.
I can't get Tony Braxton out of my head, but it's not Tony Braxton.
Well, you should do because it was Tony Basil.
No, that's why I said.
Yeah.
Don't go on holiday.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
House of Lord. View from the House of Lord. He really enjoyed the episode. Safest Hands in Soccer was a great story. So nice to hear about Gordon Stewart before Timefield. And the Kevin Nicholish profile in Champ was good. At the time, he thought it was going to be a new thing where they would pick players from opponents and cover these. So good shout.
Yeah.
They may have done, I suppose, if it carried on.
Well, I can actually. What happened after that feature is the United players actually picked their real life all-star British team and did a British 11. That was the following week.
I went back to Adrian and said, thank you very much. As ever, we appreciate the view from the House of Lord. And Adrian goes, it's worse than that. He actually sings along with it. But he can't sing along with it this week, can he? Because the theme tune's been changed.
Hang on a second. Hang on.
No, we don't want
Bring them back. Are they stuck in the lift with level 42?
Hello?
Get them back in the studio, Goal.
Which feed Dorothy Cotton? We've come back at the 17. Oh, all right then. Right, go on, off you go. Everybody in the House, Lord. Everybody in the House, Lord. One house, one Lord. Everybody in the House of Lord.
Okay, you can go and have a rest now, Goal. Well done.
I
Good
don't know
stuff.
I don't know what's worse, the impression or Adrian actually singing along to it. Sorry, Adrian.
Simo said, also our great friend of the show, member of the show. He says, great show. Good to see everyone in such good spirits. He says he is missing us all. And yeah, he's having Wi-Fi problems. So if they ever sort those out, then he'll be back with some more controversy and maybe even do part 3 of the goals of Jimmy Grant.
Oh,
Long live the
Well,
pod.
yeah.
Seeing as part 1 was about episode 19, well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And then finally, we have Ian Golden, who's
Yes.
commented a lot. So he's another friend of the show.
Hang on. Golden Ian, feedback as well. I just made that up on the spot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we can tell
You
that.
certainly strangled that one.
Oh, very good.
So Ian goes on. There was a printed letter in the Roy of the Rovers not long after goalkeeper started, and he asked about Rick Stewart, why he was around when safest hand in soccer. We talk about it as the timeline of safest hands in soccer, and then a year later, suddenly we have Rick Stewart's grown up. I mean, Gordon Stewart's grown up son, Rick Stewart. And Bygone, you were talking about this, saying that you'd heard that they'd said actually, well, actually, the safest hands was actually set in the 60s, and we were going, oh, maybe that's a fan fiction. But actually, Bygone was bang on, of course. And Ian said that there was a letter into the talking, and they actually said that it's based in the 60s, and the letter is actually from a Jeff Sale of London N11, because he actually asked the question, and so it's a response back saying, safest hands was set in the 60s. So there you go.
I don't want to go off on a massive tangent because obviously we do want to get to our special guest, but I'm just going to say maybe a future pod of some continuity issues, because whilst I'm pleased to hear that Bygone wasn't going mad and he was correct, it does bring into question for me, in the Marx Brothers, Gordon Stewart actually takes part and plays alongside Kevin Mouse and Roy Race, Johnny Dexter in a benefit match for Stockbridge, which at the time was Terry Marx's team. So another one for us to try and address at a future date of how we're going to piece all of these times together.
It's a shame Ridders isn't here. You know what he's like.
Yeah, he managed to do it.
Everything in. Even if it's like parallel universes, it still works.
It's a testimonial, isn't it? So he could play in a testimonial. And Emlyn Hughes and Bob Wilson played, didn't they, in the 80s? So I'm sure they'll be able to wingle it in some way.
One to be explored in the future. That's all I'm going to say.
He was already dead, wasn't he? That's... Yeah.
Well, he wasn't dead at the time of the testimonial, but I'll tell you what, as I said, let's not waste too much of episode 90 on that. We can explore that in the future. And, well, I think, is that all the social media feedback there, Matt?
No, I've got some.
Oh, here we go.
On,
I hope you've got a comfy chair, Mal, because you're going to be here for a long time. We don't finish till about 1 normally.
No,
come on.
Harking back to the old days, I got a contact. It said, "Dear Gull, great to hear you back hosting. Lots of love, Gull." You can tell that. You can tell Bygone hasn't heard that one before.
Do you know what I love? Is Bygone laughs out loud, and me and Matt just in the studio roll our eyes and give each other that knowing look. As always, thanks to all of thanks to all of our listeners. We really appreciate your feedback, and it's actually a good segue. And I will hand over to Matt for this, because it's that feedback that has driven our next guest. And of course, I'm going to keep on saying it because it seems to bring a smile to his face. I'll hand over to Matt as he interviews Malcolm Dickenson, the 1994, 84. I've done it again. I cocked up. Where's the bloopers reel? Where's the bloopers reel?
Do it again.
It was 83.
83, sorry, the 1983 Mattel Electro Olympics champion. And if you don't mind, Matt, you can ask for me, was there an 84 competition, or is Malcolm still the undisputed champion?
Thank you. Thanks, Tangent. So it's we are, as you rightly say, we the last social media feedback read out Mal's name, and welcome, Mal. Welcome to the podcast.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me on.
So yeah, so what we're going to do is it's going to be just a bit of a chat really about it. I'm going to put up some pictures actually from the comic at the time, which maybe will stir a few memories. So this is for listeners so they're aware.
Ah, not quite as many as I thought. Right, okay. Yeah, I can sort of feel a question coming on about bottom right in that picture. I thought it was a lot more than
Yeah.
that, but okay.
But okay, so let's just kick off. I guess it's 1983. Many of us, I was reading the comic then. I'm definitely Goal and Tangent.
Yeah.
You would have been
Yeah.
reading the comic then as well.
Yeah.
And the comic I got up on the screen is the 26th of February 1983. It's got Willie Young on there. Willie Young actually when he was at Forest. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember him when he was at Arsenal, but obviously he moved to Forest afterwards.
That's right.
And
yeah.
on there, emblazoned on there, it's got enter in television Electro Olympics competition today. Mal, do you want to kind of take it from here? Do you remember? Clearly, you remember this, but yeah, talk us through
Well,
how you
yeah, I
entered.
remember taking part in the competition. I mean, I've been making a couple of notes on this. I had it down as spring/Easter '83, so it's a little bit earlier than that. Good. I also had it down as being few more games than that. What you can see in the bottom right of that picture there is basically an advert for how many games Mattel had on the for sale, and you had to pick. I think without looking at this closely, you had to pick 10 games that would entertain a family of four, something along those lines, and your name and address and all this type of stuff on it, and then you got selected for the weekend in London, which came to be in the following September, and I was
So
clearly one of the lucky four from Roy the Rovers to get that.
yeah, so I'll read. You're absolutely right. What you're saying. So I've got the actual comic in front of me here,
Oh,
and they
right,
say
brilliant.
they've and it says there. So there's an entry form, and it says listed on your entry coupon are just 20 of the many games produced by Mattel for Intellivision, and it says imagine Mattel were to combine 10 of the 20 into a starter library for a typical family. Which 10 together would make the best balanced and most entertaining set? So place
Fantastic.
across.
It means I'm not going senile. It means I actually remember things. It's
Oh yeah,
brilliant.
yes, but I mean that's not bad. 41 years ago.
Yeah.
So you had to place a cross against each of the 10, and that was it. And then you just sent it off in a sealed envelope to the
Yeah.
address to arrive not later than the 7th of March 1983. And
Yeah,
that was yeah.
I sort of remember bits of that one. Obviously, I do remember the I thought there was a few more games in that, but I do remember doing that one. The bit I remember most, though, the next part of it, it would have been about July, August time when a white envelope came to the house. With my mum and dad at work, I didn't see white envelopes. You saw brown ones with pictures on the front. So you knew it was a bill or whatever. And, it was one of those things. And I remember clearly it's sort of the stamp on the top of it, not the stamp itself, but sort of the postmark or what it was, IPC magazines. I remember clearly that happening, and me getting that at sort of 9 in the morning, and having to wait till sort of 1:30 until someone came home from work, and basically sitting at the end of the street up a tree. Genuinely, that's true. That's
Oh
completely true.
really?
Yeah, completely true. Waiting for them to walk home from work, and then sort of jumping down from the tree and confronting her and going, "You need to open this." I entered a competition months ago. Let's see what's happened. Like, hold a bit. Wow, that's like yesterday. That memory, yeah.
Wow. So you just entered it just off your own back. You didn't tell your parents or anything like that, or
Nope.
I mean, you don't have to, do you? Clearly, I mean, you didn't have to, but you just sent it off in an envelope, and
Yeah.
then when you saw it coming back and you could see IPC, you thought this could be the response to that competition.
Yeah,
Clearly.
yeah. When my dad was big into local football, secretary of football clubs, and worked for the Durham FA sort of as a sideline thing, voluntary. And so there's always envelopes and stamps around the house. So it was just a case of grabbing one of those, and sending it away. Yeah.
Had you entered any other competitions before?
I don't recall. No, I don't really recall doing that one. I think I was. I think this was me first. And in answer to I think was it Gold's question? In answer to Gold's question or Paul's question, sorry. Don't recall this competition happening again. It's I mean, the
So
prize
the
is so damn
undefeated
huge.
champion.
Ah, yeah, I'm the man. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So you've opened it up, and can you remember what the letter said then?
It was. Well, my mother read it obviously,
Yeah.
and sort of she said, "Oh, right, okay," and she didn't sort of get the gravity of it or anything like that, so she passed it to me, and I did. You know, I'm going to London, and you know the details are, and you had to ring up actually. Um, it was just like a one-sided sheet of paper saying congratulations on the it was around about the 19th or the 20th or something along those lines of September '83. No, it's not, it's the 23rd. There you go. It's different 2 dates. I'll come back to those.
Okay.
23rd September. You're going to go down to London this weekend and take part at Olympia in London at the Home Entertainment Exhibition or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you'll
Wow.
you'll
Yeah.
you'll play for the chance to go to Florida.
Unbelievable. And so you went down to London in the September.
Yeah,
Was it just
well,
you and your dad? Because
me and my
we've seen
dad.
pictures of your dad. Yeah.
Yeah. It was you go down on the Friday and you come back on the Sunday and you have 2 nights in this wonderful hotel in South Kensington. I've never stayed in the hotel before. I'd never been on holiday before. You know this was quite amazing to me. So we got there, and it was sort of all expenses, that type of thing as well. But even
Wow.
so, we got the National Express down into Euston, or I presume it would have been Euston. And then we sort of arrived quite late on the Friday. So I was pretty much straight to bed while he had a couple of pints. And then the next day it was off to Olympia for this huge exhibition thing. Thousands and thousands of people there. It was really, really intimidating. And we were sort of the 19, 20 of us or so on were sort of put to one side, giving out Burger Time t-shirts. Mine was about 18 sizes too big.
Yeah.
I remember wearing my school trousers because my mum wanted me to look smart, and my school shoes, and feeling like a right absolute plonker. But there you go. And then we were given sort of half an hour or so to practice on this game, and then we were sort of brought onto the main stage with the Radio 1 DJ and sort of announced to the crowd and people watching it. And wow, it was scary. Crazy clowns there as well.
Yes, you've seen those.
Yeah. And the mighty Thad turned up at one point as well.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about that, but
Faintest idea who he was. I haven't a clue.
He didn't appear much in Weather Rovers, did he, the mighty
No,
Thad?
not really. I was hoping for a cardboard cutout, but that never happened.
one appearance, Tharg, when Danefield United won the league championship.
Oh, he did. He
He
did.
actually
Sorry. Yeah.
congratulated Johnny Dexter
He
and
did.
Victor Boscovich. Sorry.
He did. So how many
Magnificent
rounds?
knowledge, that.
Yeah, I know. Scary knowledge.
Have you
That's
seen
scary.
his comics collection behind him? He knows
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah,
I wish I did.
know.
I wish I did. But
So how many rounds was it then? Because I mean, that's, as you say, quite intimidating. So
well,
it's a big stage with like
Yeah.
hundreds and thousands of people. What was?
And this is where I've got a fella called Ian Vosper. I'm sure you know who he is.
Yeah.
So there was sort of four from each I think there was 5 comics in total in there, I think.
Yeah.
4 from each one, so 20 of us. And so obviously that doesn't make a knockout competition, but 2 at a time were brought onto the big stage. And it was the top 8 scores that got through into a knockout competition.
Oh,
And I didn't do very well. I didn't click the game like I normally do on video games. I didn't click it. I didn't get what you needed to do, really. I was just sort of just messing around. I wasn't that fussed, to be fair. But Ian Vosper came over afterwards and said, "We think you're in 8th. I think we've got you through. I think you're the only Roy the Rovers one left. You know, get yourself over there and start practicing." So I went back over to the machines that were set aside for us and started practicing again. And won the quarterfinals easy, the semi-finals easy, won the finals easy. So much so they changed the final. It was best out of 5, and I won 3-0 in a couple of minutes.
wow.
And so they made it best out of 7, and then best out of 9, and then best out of 11, and eventually sort of that was it. You know, it was I won
Just to pad it
comfortably.
out.
what was the game, Mal? What was the actual
It was
game?
called Burger Time. It was a levels game. It wasn't out yet.
Right.
On basically you're just knocking things off one level down to another. It's almost Donkey Kong like. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Yeah.
The idea was you go to the top. You don't start at the bottom like I was initially. You go to the top and knock them down, and that you get more points doing it that way.
Wow. You can go onto in preparation, we do. There is a bit of preparation. You won't believe it, Mal, but we do prepare for these shows.
Yeah.
And I was on YouTube last night looking at burger. You can see that people play burgers. If any listeners are interested, then you can check out Burger Time. Really, it must have been a new game they're just promoting.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you're sticking T-shirts on you as well.
Yeah, it didn't even come out until after the Christmas, actually. And I didn't have it in television, so I wasn't lucky enough to win one. Everybody else got one, and I didn't.
Well, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you that. So,
Sorry.
yeah. So for in television, I mean, guys, did you? I mean, the name rang a bell, but I never had it, and none of my mates did. Did any of you have in television? I don't think
No.
did we? I mean, in television, I think it was Mattel. Obviously, they're trying to do up in competition against Atari. I mean, I can remember Atari being massive in the early 80s. But yeah, so you didn't even have, that's what I was going to ask you, Mal. It's like, were you a champ? Because you look at how you actually entered the competition, it was like literally put 10 crosses next to random games. There's no evidence that you're actually good. And so the first time you ever played it was when you actually got down. That's incredible. That's brilliant.
There's no evidence at all I was any good at video games. None whatsoever, except I was really good.
But you are the 1983 Electro Olympic Mattel champion.
Exactly.
It's natural talent.
I think I once mistakenly told my daughter I was British video games champion just to shut her up. She was wanting me to play games like Mario or something when she was a little girl, and go and play this with me, Daddy. You don't want to play this with me, I'll murder you. Just go and play yourself. Go and practice.
Brilliant.
Wow. So the actual competition. So it seems like you won it at Cantor, really. Because I mean, I've put up some pictures on the screen. We've got the excerpt from the 1985 Were the Rovers, and we've got the Mighty Fog. You've got the Scary Clowns. There's like thousands of people. There's at least 20 people watching at the moment there. But I mean, there's a big old place. And you can see Ian Vosper, your dad with a beer, and you've got you having a celebratory cocktail afterwards. Where was that? Where was that then, Mal?
It was somewhere quite near the hotel. It was somewhere quite near the hotel. After Olympia, I went back and went back to the hotel, which, like I said, in South Kensington, and under a bus, which Ian Vosper was on, right at the front, and sort of had a microphone and so on. It's like a downstairs in this burger restaurant. It was sort of it's even a sort of Hard Rock or something along those lines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And in there, and as you can see, I've got the haircut by my mother. That's still stupid massive T-shirt on. Yeah, it's still trousers, you name it. That's that's me.
You're certainly smiling though. You got the look of a champion.
It was absolutely magic. So let's stage there again. A couple of little things you sort of remember when I won it. Sort of when you eventually went, that's it, you've won it. I jumped off that stage into the crowd, and like I said, there was thousands of people there, and I went and found my dad and gave him a hug. And I remember the people, he's won it, Brian, he's won it. And I didn't go back on the stage, and they had to sort of shout me back up there because they had tries given to do and so on. And as it turned out, that was Barry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is the picture. This is the picture which Barry. This is one of the ones which he sent you, wasn't it, Mal? This is so.
It was indeed. About 2 years ago. Yeah.
On the screen, I've got a picture which Barry Tomlinson sent to Mal a couple of years ago when they kind of connected over Twitter, and so you've got Barry there with his microphone, with a slightly younger, but with oversized T-shirt. Mal there, Paul Burnett, radio DJ. Anybody remember Paul Burnett? I remember the name. Paul Burnett.
I know the name. Yeah.
In a typical early 80s white suit, open neck shirt, looking like a Radio 1 DJ, and you got a couple of.
That's exactly what I said on Twitter.
Really?
Them clouds are quite scary, aren't they?
I got one other question for Mal there. So this is 1983. So did you notice a young Pat Cash in the audience? Because that's obviously where he got the inspiration for his celebration, leaving the court for Wimbledon. Obviously, you were the inspiration for that, jumping off the stage.
There was no royal box to climb up to, though. Sadly, was there? I couldn't do that one.
Did they offer you like an alternative prize? Say you couldn't have gone to Florida.
No, there was no talk of anything along those lines. No, it was just a case of I genuinely remember that the guy who came second was the only other person from the northeast, and it's about 8 or 9 miles from here now, a place called Shildon. Um, and he was over the moon because he thought he's won a Mattel in television, he's won this home entertainment thing, and then it turned out everybody got one. So he was a bit annoyed about that night. But I was like, I'm not joking, I was annoyed because I didn't get one.
I find that amazing that you actually won the
Yeah.
competition and you didn't get the games
You would have
console.
thought. You would have thought. How much
I
would it
know.
have cost them? They would have just like chucked you one, like, oh, go on, just give him one.
Well,
Yeah, you know.
especially
You know what,
considering the costs of the actual prize. I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard what Barry said about it. He's got a little bit of a lapse in memory there, one or two things. I didn't realize how big the prize was and the extras that came with it, which I'll go into in a few minutes.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Sorry, Cole, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
Paul.
just wanted to go back to that picture, if you can bring it back
Which one?
up, of
Barry?
Paul Burnett. Yeah, I mean, are Mal and Paul Burnett far away, or is Barry Tomlinson tall?
I mean, Barry is quite
Barry's
tall.
Tall, yeah, he is tall.
But I'm not sure what Paul Burnett's looking at either. Seems to be looking
Yeah,
away, almost wistfully thinking, I wish I had any television, but I never got one either.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's,
yeah, I'm sure he had better ways to spend his Saturday afternoons than that.
you probably did, yeah. And this is an So yeah,
Oh,
we'll ask you about
wow.
the prize in a minute, but this is the actual edition where this
Yeah.
is in December. So if that's in September, then now this is the one in
Yeah.
this is in December, and you've got it's
Yeah,
actually
it was in Tiger in November. It was a couple of weeks earlier than this one in
because
Tiger.
I think I saw some pictures. I think I've done a screenshot of it. So that is in Tiger and November. Ah, that's interesting. I'll have to dig that out then and have a
Oh,
look.
no, I've got someone sent it to me. It was just I was having
Right,
a conversation with a friend about this over Twitter who lives elsewhere and
right.
mentioned it, and all of a sudden, sort of, I get this DM saying I've got this, and he sent in, and out of nowhere, it's early November. Copy of Tiger arrives with their version of what happened in there. Obviously, they're bullet up the Tiger readers in it, but
Wow.
that was sort of the main shot of it.
So yeah, so this is in 3rd of December, and it's actually the one where Roy is coming back to Melchester after he went over to Wolford. So it's quite
Yes.
quite a famous edition. But this is the one where it's got a smiling picture of Mal, and it's got Mattel Victor Olympic champion 1983 there. So that was the first time it was announced to Roy the Rovers fans that you'd actually won it. So Mal, because the prize is an amazing prize. I mean, it's like early 80s.
It's bigger than what you think, Matt, honestly.
What was, I mean, did you enter it to win that prize, or did you enter it just for the competition, or what was
Just entered it for the competition. It was, I just entered it. It seemed like a very simple thing to do. And it was, it's free. I'm sure I can pick out 10 games here that people like. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And how they decided who the winners were, who knows about how they do these things. So it used to be a case of I should win this competition because, and then they decided for whatever reasons. And that wasn't one. So whether it was just demographics, whether it was random, I've no idea how it worked.
Sorry, Mal, do you remember what 10 games you did actually
No, I
pick?
haven't the faintest idea.
I did think you might say that, but yeah.
I haven't the faintest idea. I bet you Barry knows. But I'd love to have a go at ticking the 10 again and see how close I got.
Yeah.
Well,
the holiday back.
you might not have realised this, but episode 91. We've got a little quiz for you.
Yeah.
So when did it actually hit home to you that you'd won this prize to Disneyworld then?
The Sunday night getting home again, sort of breakfast on the Sunday morning, back on the National Express at the Sedgefield, and word had got back. People knew. TV was there, the radio was there, the newspapers were there.
Wow.
The local MP was there.
Wow.
The local Catholic, I'm not Catholic. The local Catholic priest turned up, knocked on the door, and said, "This is a prize for two. We don't want divorces in the village. I'll take him." That is a very true story. It's a fellow called Father John Caden. He's not with us anymore, but it's 100% correct.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, like I said.
So did you take him? I just want to check. Did you take him?
No,
okay.
I did not. I did not. I mean, we ended up going as a 3, but I'll come into that. Why and how. But I mean, this big Rover 3.5 Vanden Plas thing. Remember those cars? The great big long
Yeah.
things. One of them pulled up outside the house. And who the hell is this? So I went and opened the door, and it was our local MP. He'd sort of only been a sort of resident for a couple of months and so on. It was a fella called Tony Blair. You'll have heard of him. So he was there congratulating
No,
me, and the TV was soon after that. It was
no
bonkers.
way.
Yeah.
You're
Because
kidding
of
me.
no, I'm not. This is completely correct.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know Tony
Sorry,
Blair was at
apologies for
Sedgefield
listeners
MP, yeah. But,
and the
yeah.
team. It's taken 90 episodes, but well done, Mel. I am finally speechless.
If only you come on earlier.
I can't believe that. If that's true, I'm going to
It's
quit.
100% true.
It don't get any better than that. Paul being
which-
speechless.
Which bit is the tough bit? Is it Tony Blair?
Yeah. Well,
No,
all of
well,
it. It's
I guess-
amazing.
It's
I can add
yeah,
to
it's-
that because a couple of years later, and then for about 18 months, maybe 2 years, I became Tony's tennis partner.
Tony's what?
tennis partner.
Tennis partner.
Tennis partner, yeah. It became very weird. It's sort of the PE teacher, the head of PE in our school, and the Catholic priest I've mentioned used to play tennis. And Tony, out of his sport, he wanted to play tennis, but they needed a fourth, and I was the best in the school. So next thing you know, I was taken along and ended up playing tennis at various places around the region, just getting picked up by police cars and all sorts of things. And sort of that went on from after I left school as well for a while. It all became, and it sort of all linked into this. He knew me from then.
The gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
It was
Do you
mad.
still
He
get free
suddenly-
meals and pints in like Weatherspoons and other establishments now?
I haven't seen him for a long time, but I do see the head of PE quite often.
That's I mean, that sounds like a joke, doesn't it? It's the Catholic
It's
priest,
mad, isn't it?
the Prime Minister, and the PE teacher.
He was
Walk into a
MP for
bar.
Sedgefield at the time.
Yeah.
Wow. Blimey. We talk about tangents. We could go off on
Yeah.
3 I can think of now. But anyway. Okay, so wow, so all this is happening when you've come home to
Yes.
Sedgefield,
This is the Sun-
and
this
this
is
is
the
in the
Sunday night, yeah.
September. This is on
Yeah.
the Sunday. Blimey.
Yeah.
So what happens after that then?
But what happens after that is I go into school the next morning, and sort of there's a buzz around sort of with the friends and so on. And I've been in a newspaper called the Northern Echo, which is a massive local publication. I think it had 1.2 million circulation or something along those lines. And obviously it's in the staff room, and parents have got it. And everybody read it, and so there I was. Micro Malcolm King's a big prize, I believe it was, and sort of half a page on it. And all of a sudden at school, I wasn't invisible to teachers. You know, it was just this little. It was called second year to me to people of our age. It's called year 8 now. You know, it
Yeah.
just started.
Yeah.
It just started, and I was nobody. I was just this little lad who wasn't a bad kid, wasn't massively academic. I was just one of those ones who passes under the radar. And next thing you know, I've got teachers coming to find me and congratulate me and thank me. I remember in the middle of a silent English class, a quite intimidating teacher called Dave Tucker just walking up and down and going past me 3 or 4 times, and then just pointed at me and went, "Dickinson, is that you?" Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely fantastic, son. And things seem to change after,
Wow.
all sorts of stuff seemed to change after that. Yeah, it was weird.
Do you think it? I know which I'll probably save it for later, really, because you say things changed and suddenly you
Yeah.
noticed. So do you think it made a really big impression on your life? I suppose I might as well ask it now. Do you think it really
Yeah,
changed you as a person?
100%. I've mentioned this. I think you said it on your socials in one of the previous pods that I've got Barry to thank forever for this. It 100% changed my life. I had aspiration, I had ambition. I'd seen good things happen to people who try the best. And I know it says Stockton-on-Tees on my and this is relevant actually when in about a year's time after this. It says Stockton-on-Tees on where I was from. I'm from South County Durham actually. My postcode is Stockton-on-Tees. And from the community I'm from, there wasn't a great deal of ambition pretty much anywhere unless you were going to be a footballer. You were going to do what everybody else did in that region. And this just sort of made me sort of work hard and think bigger and get on with stuff. I don't want to get all. I'm not a great wordsmith, but I don't want to sort of preach to people, but it genuinely made me work harder and think,
yeah.
there's things to happen, there's things you can do, and it definitely changed my life. Next thing you know, I'm going to college. I wasn't leaving school and getting a job, and I'm going to university, and then I'm getting decent jobs on the back of all of this type of thing, and the ambition for my family becomes higher, and it changed my life completely and utterly, and I'll always be grateful for Barry for this.
Wow, that's
Well,
amazing.
that's wonderful to hear, though, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I understand you saying, but that really is phenomenal because it'd just be so easy to just think, you've rocked up, won this computer game that you've never played before, and gone off to Florida. But it's absolutely fantastic to hear that such a positive impact it had on you as an individual and as a person. I mean, that really is an amazing thing because, on the pod I've mentioned, not quite, but the comic holds such a thing for me. I genuinely believe I wouldn't have been able to read if it wasn't for the comic. So it's just great to hear someone else and such a positive influence that's had. Honestly, it was brilliant to hear.
That's good. It's things I try to put those values onto my kids, and it's certainly worked there. And I'm a teacher now as well. So I'm putting all those values onto them. I've never told them this story. But it's I'm sort of saying, things weren't easy for me. It wasn't easy for me in school. I was late for, God knows how many times I didn't have uniform. I didn't do this, I didn't do that, but it could still happen for you.
But it's also, when I think back to, the early 80s and say, as everybody I think knows, it's particularly up north, northeast, northwest, it was tough times, wasn't it, really, with unemployment and stuff like that. So I can get why something like this, it's incredible happening in your life. It gives you that ambition, doesn't it? It gives you that confidence. It inspires you to just aim for more of this, really. So I can definitely see that. It's an amazing story, really. So anyway, we're jumping ahead really to kind of how it's kind of impacted on you and your life and that, which is incredible. But let's go back a bit and let's find out about the holiday then, because obviously there's a holiday for two to Disneyworld Florida. So you won it in the September. When was the holiday, and how did that come about then?
Well, initially it was a holiday for two, and it became a holiday for three with sort of some negotiations between IPC and my mother, who really wanted to go. And obviously I wasn't going to go with the local Catholic priest. So it's bonkers, that story, it's not true. And sort of phone calls backwards and forwards, and sort of things changed, and things about sort of accommodation changed, and parts of the prize changed, and so on. But eventually, all three of us went. And I just going back on something you've just said there. In the run up to this, by the way, we went in September. Sorry, hang on, I've got the dates here. We went on the 19th of October, so yesterday, 40 years ago.
Oh wow!
In the run to that, from the region I'm from the area I'm from the village I'm from, we're in the middle of the miners' strike.
Of course,
so
it was.
Everybody around me, pretty much everybody I went to school with had some connection to do with this, and had been in it for 6-7 months. So me jaunting off with this incredible prize was a bit weird.
Wow, yeah, imagine, bloody hell, yeah. Christ.
Yeah, so
picked up like you've just said though, the immediate community. It must have made all them, happy for you, and as a family, and things like you said, local priest has come round, the MP. They must have felt like last some good's actually happening to, it's not just. It's hard because there is like a north and south divide, and when you see these competitions, you think, oh, it's just people only win it who's local to the area, in London or wherever, and for you yourself, to have won that competition, I bet that your local immediate community was genuinely happy for you, man.
Without question, and still are. It goes on. Honestly, it goes on. It's gone on for 40 odd years. I've talked about this week to somebody randomly. Everybody was really happy. Good things happened to them. Like I say, the guy in the final was from Shildon. It's 8 miles away from here. Another part of that community as well. It was absolutely brilliant, and the run up to it did feel a little bit strange seeing people struggle and being part of all of that. Not a lot I could do about that, to be honest.
No. Send him a postcard.
Yeah, Yeah, well, it went down well. Yeah, so that's what we did, and on, like I said, 40 years ago yesterday, myself, my mum and dad, were picked up by my Auntie Betty and Uncle Tom because they had a car and we didn't. Taken to Teesside Airport, which is about 12 miles from here, um, and flown by British Midland, if you remember those,
Yeah, yeah.
to Heathrow. Went from Heathrow to Miami. We had 3 days in Fort Lauderdale, and then we went by Greyhound bus, which was freezing cold, but that was air conditioned. I'd never had that before. To to Orlando. We had 7 days in Orlando. From Orlando, we flew to Tampa. We had 4 days in St. Petersburg Beach, and then flew back to Heathrow and then to Teesside again on November the 3rd. And on top of that, I mean, that's sort of the flights and the accommodation sort of thing. All Disney tickets were involved in that, all transfers, all internal flights, £1,000 spending money on this. Disney tickets, Gatorland. We went to NASA, we went to Kennedy Space Center,
Oh
we went
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
It was absolutely ridiculous. The extras on this price, like it was bonkers. I mean, we did the holiday of a lifetime a couple of years ago, myself and my family, and it cost a fortune. I mean, this in 1983, I can't imagine the equivalent.
So yeah, well, wow, and it's
Can I,
all
can I
paid
just
for, by Mattel, I
Yeah.
guess. But you were their
Yes.
champion, so I mean,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
fair enough, really, I suppose. But go on, Paul.
No, I was just going to ask Mel. So when you were out there, though, I mean, were you met by anybody? I mean, or was it just
No.
kind of so you kind of left to your complete your own devices, but tickets were kind of left for the places for you to go and stuff, or did you have to organise all of that?
No, when we were at reception, you go to reception to log to check in, and then there's sort of almost like a bundle waiting for you. So on
Right, yeah.
Tuesday, you're going to Kennedy Space Center, be at reception for the limo, be it
Wow.
when
Right.
you're at
Yeah.
Disney on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Here's your tickets there. You're doing this one. You're in the you're eating at this place, and this place. It was very American and scheduled. It was
Yeah.
right up my street, to be honest. I love all of that. And it was just utterly incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing. Brilliant. So yeah, because I think so. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I've never won anything like that, but I could imagine nowadays almost somebody being assigned to meet you and go through it
Yeah.
all. But yeah, that's
Mhm.
fantastic to think. So they had the itinerary and everything there for you, so it was all laid on. But yeah, just turned up a reception and there it is. Right, just make sure you're in reception and this car's going to be here and we'll take you to X and don't worry about food and everything because that's all laid on as well.
That's
Those.
exactly it. And they did say, there was a couple of free days here and there. I think there was two free days, one in St. Pete's and one in Orlando. Is there anything you'd like to do? And I wanted to go see Miami Dolphins, but they weren't playing, and they weren't. They were away in New
Oh,
York
okay.
that week. So
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
never mind. It's not the worst thing in the world to miss out on, I suppose.
I was just trying to think. I'm surprised Barry didn't get over there with the old cardboard cutout because Roy played for the Orlando Pirates, didn't he? I can't remember what year that was, but
Oh yeah, Pine City
yeah,
College, wasn't it?
kind
Pine
of
City
something like
College.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I'm surprised actually that they didn't make more of it. I suppose they did because obviously it was in the annual, obviously the 1985 annual. But there's no pictures of you with cardboard cutout of Roy
No,
next to Mickey Mouse and stuff like that. You two comic icons or animated icons together. But
no, absolutely nothing. I mean, the first I knew about it was at Christmas Day, going to my Auntie Betty's, I previously mentioned there, sitting on the settee when I got there about 11 o'clock in the morning, opening a present, which was this annual, and just sort of flicking through it, and wow, there I am. But that's how that worked as well.
yeah.
It just everything's amazing. Ow,
So
I
you,
can't.
so you never, so you they didn't tell you that you were going to be
No,
in the annual.
I
Wow,
had no clue whatsoever. I just opened it, and there I was.
wow.
Oh, that's
It's
nice.
just amazing. And so yeah, I mean, and so you were saying that sometimes you find yourself talking about it. I mean, how much has it stayed with you over 40 years now? How often do you
Well,
find yourself talking about it?
well,
It's
I live in a small village, and I moved away in 90. I went to university in Wales and stayed there 10 years and came back. And there's people live in this village forever. There's people live in the surrounding sort of pit villages forever. And when they introduce you to somebody, if they've got a friend up or a new husband, new wife, whatever they're with when they haven't seen you for a while, because apparently I look quite similar. This is Mal. He won this amazing competition, and that's how I'm introduced. You're the guy who the video games are, aren't you? I remember you from school. You're this. I did genuinely get introduced to people like that. Well,
So
that's how they say they remember me by.
you're still a celebrity up there.
Yeah, it was such a big deal. It was like I say, I came home on the Sunday and everybody seemed to know about it. I don't know how. We didn't have any mobile phones to tell anybody or do
No, I
anything.
know.
I don't
Wow.
get it, you know.
I'm amazed the pillar box wasn't painted gold. You know, after all, Mattel Electro Olympic champion.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes, do you know
And
what?
of
I
course,
like that.
amazingly, of course, Mal, looking into the future, you ended up marrying Peter Davison. Oh, sorry. No, that's Sandra Dickinson. Sorry. I get all these muddled up. I'm so sorry. Carry on.
Oh, dear. He's been working on that for 20 minutes, Mel.
I know.
20
I was
days.
just waiting for
Googling various spellings of Dickinson, yes.
Yes. That's why it's been so quiet. Well, I mean, what an amazing story. And it's, I mean, what when you look back now, then just to finish off, then now, what do you think of it now? What do you think of it?
I hadn't thought about it for a while. I mean, apart from obviously the odd conversation here and there, and sort of every now and then when I open a cupboard and I see in the annual, I'll see one of the comics in there. I don't sort of think about it a great deal. But I look back now, and it was something what I think it's one of you guys had said on your previous casts was the size of the prize was incredible.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And I didn't realize this until you said it. And I thought about it, and I've sort of jotted down, I've got my list here of what we did and where we went, thinking there's no way in the world I can afford that with my family now. And I've got a decent wage, I've got a decent job.
Yeah.
This is bonkers. This is absolutely mad. So it was crazy. And it's a huge prize. And until you just said it now, not a great deal was made of it, was it? It's not bad, my name. There you go.
I know
it's fantastic, though.
It's maybe because we've been lucky enough to interview Barry a few times, and he had said previously, friend of the show, that they did realise it's such a big gap between the first prize and the poor other guy you whooped in the final, 7-0 eventually. That they never had a prize as big as that. So, but maybe subsequently, just after, they realised actually let's not make too big a deal. Clearly, they used it rightfully in the annual in '85, but I mean they never had a prize as big as that. I mean, typically, as we know, we laugh and joke. You get a £2 gift token, or you get a £5 for sending in a joke, and you win maybe a Subutio, or something like that. But it's just, I think. Well, you weren't fortunate, but you were. That what an incredible prize to win, and after that, they never had a prize as big as that. So
I wonder though, if because the prize isn't without being like Royal Rovers, if you know what I mean. It was obviously something done with IPC. But it was obviously Mattel's thing. But it's interesting, like you said about Ian Vosper telling you to go and practice. You do, when listening to you, Mel, the two things I've picked up on, I really love actually, is this weird kind of sense of pride, obviously, from Ian Vosper that, it was the Royal Rovers reader. You got to the final and you won sort of almost for Royal Rovers. But I also love that, your story of, is it Mr. Trucker, you said, walking past you, but then, good on you, lad. And that real kind of sense of pride, you've gone down there and you've shown them all what we're about. Yeah, if we just don't think of us as this small, people up north, that you are somebody and you are.
And if I can use a well-known, song from, the Northeast, Local Hero.
Yeah. You can't use that one. No, you can't. No, you can use Wise Men Say by Sunderland if you like, but you can't use the Newcastle one.
Wrong. Yeah. It's going so well, Goal. Why did you have to?
Exactly.
Honestly, it's taken a nasty turn.
I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's brilliant stuff. Thank you Thank you, guys. Have you got anything last you want? I mean, Mal, you're going to stay for the show anyway, so hopefully you're okay to stay for the show, and you're welcome to.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But
I just think it's brilliant that it's not just your bog standard, which is fantastic if you win anything, draw a picture of Roy, or I remember sending a picture of myself that I drew, and you're hoping that you get it featured, or there was a point where you could send your picture of your face and they'd put it on one of the characters and things like one of the, and I sent in mine in a few times. But this isn't just your normal run-of-the-mill competition, is it? This is the Roy race of competitions, and it's fantastic to actually speak to the person who won the elite competition, and
superb.
And it's not just like you can tell. You get some people tell the story. Oh yeah, I won the trip to Florida. It's not just a trip to Disney World Florida. It's everything that went with it. Like you say, it's influenced your life from now. And I bet when you go for interviews, I bet you've mentioned it at least once. And it's one of them things that it's not just a trip to Florida. It is just so big, much more than that. And it's fantastic to be able to listen to your side of the story and speak to you about it.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'd like to say a couple of things, if that's okay. I know, our normal episodes, we have a good laugh and, take the mickey out of each other. But I've got to say, this is one of the most fascinating episodes I've been involved in. It's so amazing to hear your story, Mal, and how it changed your life. And I'm very thankful for you coming on, and I'm sure the listeners have enjoyed it too. And the other thing I'll add is sort of going on with something that Bygone Berrigan just said about, he sent his picture in. And I know you're all going to moan, but I am going to mention it because Mal might know the story. But when I was drawn into, I don't know if I've mentioned it.
Only once, but you think you got away with it.
I've muted him.
He's hit the wrong button in the studio.
No, I've muted him.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Mute button's on fire again, everybody. Oh, there was. Do you know what, Matt?
What was that goal?
Point you were on for a man of the match performance here, but I think Mute's just stolen your thunder. Sorry, Goal. We lost you for a moment.
That's his problem with the Wi-Fi.
Can't be bothered. I quit. No, I'll only take 1 minute. And this, means a lot to me as well because, I lost my mum back in 2012, but me and my mum sent a picture in of me in my 1982 World Cup shirt in my in our garden, because you could send a picture in, and if you were lucky enough to be drawn out, they would draw you into the story. And of course, I sent it off and thought nothing more of it, and then there I was. So not only being drawn into a story, but going a bit more emotional. The two frames in the comic are based on a picture of me in my garden that my mum took, and I'll always have that, not only real picture, but the imagery drawn of me, you know what I mean? And that means so much to me. But I will say one thing about not getting a prize. In one of the frames, United manager Joe Pearson gave me a scarf. I didn't get a scarf.
Well, you dropped it, didn't you? When you left the stadium, you dropped it, Goal. You're only young. You seem to have forgotten that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They did send you a nice framed picture of one of the cells, and it had the best wishes, Brett, Joe Pearson signed. So that was nice. But yeah, that's my story, Mal. I was drawn into a comic.
Good stuff. Yeah, so back to you. Thanks a lot, Mal, and we'll carry on with the show. But yeah, back to you, Tangent.
Wow, God, I don't. Do you know what? I'm thoroughly enthralled. I love it. Actually, I almost want to keep on asking Mal. I bore him.
We can carry on.
More details of all the venues he visited in America. It just, yeah. Well, Mal, honestly, I speak on behalf of all of us. We're so happy and pleased.
Before you carry on, sorry,
yeah, go on.
Can I just ask Mal one more question? Quite serious. Could you tell me about your time in Iron Maiden? Sorry. That was Bruce Dickinson. Sorry. Move on.
It's all right. We'll edit all this out now. Don't worry.
I've been working on all of these for a week, Mal.
No problem. Matt, am I okay to do sort of 2 minutes on sort of the bit we've missed, the sort of the what happened next
Yeah,
when I got home?
of
Yeah,
course.
go
Yeah,
for it.
yeah,
Yeah,
of
go
I
course.
for
mean,
it.
Yeah, yeah.
obviously, feel free to edit this out if it gets too
Mm.
maudlin.
No, no, no.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
we want you
please.
to tell your story.
I wasn't going to until Bill just said what he did there about losing his mum in 2012. I landed home on the 2nd of November 1984 at Teesside Airport, and we got taxi home. And when we got home, my mother immediately rang 999 for my dad. I was oblivious to all of this one. I went out and spoke to some of my mates, had a kickabout and so on. The next day, I was told he was in hospital, but I don't want to go. I shouldn't go and see him because he was covered in wires and things like that. And go and see him when he's better. On the Sunday, I was told it's fine, go out and play football. So I went and played for my football team against Hartlepool. And when I got home, I was told he'd died. And so the me coming across the pictures in the annual in 1985 annual on Christmas Day in 1984 at my Auntie Betty's house, his sister, was sort of even more weird. I just wanted to throw. I wasn't going to throw that one in, and sort of me and Matt
No.
had sort of discussed whether we were going to or whether we weren't. But until Gil said that, I thought it's probably right. I should, because there is another part of the story, and it's something else that sort of drove me on to. Yeah. You make sure you do it right.
Yeah, and
No.
what was your dad's name, Mal?
Brian.
Brian.
Right.
Yeah.
Brian Dickenson. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean we yeah, as you say, we're all aware of that, and we didn't want to bring it up, and we left it down to you to bring it up. But I think it's lovely that you have, because it's like it's a tribute to him, really, that we can
I'm glad you did as well.
talk about him on this show. I mean, you know, as we all know, people that have lost parents at very young ages, and some of the people on this show of that as well. But to have all that happen so soon after such an incredible experience in your life anyway, it's just wow. And it's 40 years, as you say. It's like literally just it's now it's virtually 40 years ago as we speak, isn't it? It's thank you for bringing that up. But I mean, and what an incredible bittersweet episode, really, in your life. It's
Yeah, I didn't want to bring this down by any means. Sorry, I just thought it should have been.
No, Mal, we've touched on this for us as well. I mean, obviously we all love the comics, and I speak from myself, but a lot of them, mean a big thing for me. As I've mentioned in previous pods, and I touched upon, I lost my mum when I was 6 years of age, and she was really worried about me reading. And I think a lot of people think I overplayed this, but I really struggled at that age in school, and I wasn't doing very well, and I was really struggling with reading. And then my dad bought Roy the Rovers comic actually one day, just to keep me quiet whilst he was getting his haircut in the barbers. But that really did help me to read. And later on in years, my grandparents, unfortunately, my mum's parents, who are now no longer with me, they used to get the comic for me every week when I used to go up there. And so for some of us, obviously, I do love the comic, but it's also part of it, right? What it brings, and very difficult and appreciate. But I just kind of words are meaningless in these moments. But it's fantastic though that you got to share such an amazing time with your father, there, and kind of crazy how things do work out. But to think that, really, like you said before, that competition, what happened with your father unfortunately probably would have happened regardless, but then you actually managed to go off and have this amazing holiday with your mum and your dad, and do this experience, which as you've already discussed with us here and shared, just something that really must have just been like a dream. In fact, so far off that the life you were living, you probably wouldn't have even ever have dreamed of having such a holiday. So it's lovely to hear that you managed to get that time together and enjoy it. And we, as I said, and I was saying, before goal did another one of his 1,000,001 rubbish Dickenson jokes. I don't know no idea how many more are to come, but we really are
17.
touched, yeah, touched and honoured that you've reached out, having heard. And for us, it really is a special moment for you to come on. To think that we were just doing an annual review, and I think bygone it was you, wasn't it? You said, "Oh, Mal Dickenson, if you're out there and listening to this, please come on." And we're humbled and really, well, I don't know if I can speak for the rest of the guys. I've loved every minute of this interview with you and hearing about your experience. And I know, and it's a poignant and touching moment. I know, is it bittersweet, but it is part of the experience. But thank you so much in sharing that with us. And unfortunately, we've touched on this before. Life does come with highs and lows, and but we all try to remember the good times, right? But yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us.
I would like to I'll throw to you in a second, Mal, to respond, but I'd like to just say something here that I echo everything that Paul has just said. But sharing the story with us on pretty much anniversary times, I hope that you can see this as a tribute to your father, and I'd like to dedicate the episode to him, because it's all, this is out there when it gets published, and I don't mean to upset you or anything, so forgive me.
Oh, you're not. You're not at all. You're not at all.
But it's this episode will be out there, and the story of you and your dad will be out there for the public to listen to, and for however long the internet lasts. So I think that's a lovely, fitting tribute to him, so if you didn't mind me saying.
No, and look, it's time to move on. But I'm going to take from this, and seeing the pictures and your smiling face, and obviously the happiness and the joy being shared there is what we're going to take on that. And one last thing, we'll always ourselves remember you, the reigning champion. I don't think anybody's held any Olympic title for as long as Mal Dickenson, the Mattel Electro Olympics champion since 1983. What a record that is.
Well, I mean, I've dreamt of meeting a reigning Mattel Electro Olympic champion, and
exactly.
So to say I've met him it's a real honour. It really is an honour.
Before we move on, I'm quite fascinated. I'm quite fascinated to hear about his time presenting World of Sport. Oh no! So that was Dickie Davis. Oh geez, I'm going right off on a tangent here.
Oh dear. Right. Fantastic. So there you go. A brilliant interview. An amazing thank you, Mal, for sharing with us episode. And I think, we're going to throw this out to listeners. I'll tell you what, if any of you can come up with a better prize given in one of the comics that we feature, please let us know, and we'd love to hear from you. Right. Well, you've heard his bad jokes. So we used to call this session, he's got issues, doesn't he have issues? Well, from this episode, I think we can all agree that he's definitely got issues, but we've kind of decided to rebrand this section as Collector's Corner. So I'm going to throw it actually over to you, Bygone, because I think you were the one that suggested that we could do this for our pod. So away you go.
Okay, so for this part of the show, I think we could either go a couple of ways, feature a few different ways. It could be talking about what our collections are, and which magazines we're interested in collecting, because I think we all know it is an expensive hobby, so to speak, because at the moment I've just recently, I think, give or take one or two issues, just completed my Roy the Rovers collection from 1976 to 1993, courtesy of a chap called Robert Richards, who we might know as Rab on the podcast. I've just purchased the years 92 and 93 from him. So
2 founder members.
Yep. So I wasn't aware either when it was pitched. I didn't realise it was the same guy.
All I'm going to say is, Rabbi, well played, and thanks for doing that, but not letting on that he's a member of the pod, so he didn't get the pod discount. But the rest of us appreciate the pod discount, Rabbi. Thank you.
And as a special surprise, Neil Bygone Berrigan, here is Rab. Hello, it's Rab here. Hello, Bygone. which is much funnier than you think, but it was funny about 30 episodes ago.
And some.
So,
There's one person laughing. We just can't hear him. That's it.
so again, I think just again it shows the power of the not only this podcast but the like the Twitter, the Facebook groups. It's helped me complete that collection now. I stopped collecting after really 1991, and it's hard trying to find them later issues. So I really do appreciate that. And I've done it a couple of times. It's just the other ones that I collect are football picture story monthly. And I only require 2 issues from that. So if there is, using again the power of this podcast, if there's anybody out there, I'm just going to get them up now, which are the 2 I need, that are selling issues 176 and 220. I would really appreciate if you got in touch with me.
I've written those down. I'm sure I've checked my doubles for you
I
in
ask you
the
every time.
past.
I ask you
Yeah,
every.
and
I've got a thing. I have a alarm on my computer just say ask again if he's got any doubles.
and do you know what? And I'm sure every time I go over to my stash, which is currently on the floor at the moment, and they're not in there. But so for just to once again, that's 176 and 220.
Yeah.
So
And again, I've never ever owned a copy of Champ comic because I wasn't even aware that it was sold. I was always Roy the Rovers. I never got Victor. I never even remember Champ being on the shelf, and I wish I did because I've recently just purchased a random selection of comics and issue 1's in there, and I've been reading it. And I've also got a digital form, but to actually be able to hold the comic and it's fantastic. It's such a fantastic comic or magazine, whichever way you want to say it. But
edition 32 is one of my personal favourites.
God almighty, what have I done?
yeah, I'm gonna send that one to you because I think I need it autographing.
Thank you.
But no, it's just it's that rabbit hole because my bank account will not be able to cope with having to purchase the whole of Champ.
Sorry then, bygone. So what copies of Champ have you got now? Then have you got?
I've got about I think it's 20 copies. I'm not going to even attempt to try and purchase any more because it's we need the hallway landing and stairs doing, and we need a new couch. And apparently, these things are more important. But I think
if only Roy the Rovers were doing a competition to decorate your house, then you could probably enter it, couldn't you? If Mattel could get in touch and maybe
if anybody wants to do, like remember them old programs where you'd pick an house and you'd come home from work and randomly the hallway landing and stairs had been done to high quality off, for free using the power of the internet. I'll set pictures and put them on Facebook.
I tell you what, we've taken this collector's corner really into a direction I wasn't.
Decorator's corner.
We're not just after any comic issues that we want, but if anybody wants to give some free labour, come round and decorate our houses.
If anybody knows anything about a leaking boiler,
So, do you know something, Bygone? I'm going to cut you off a little bit there and just bring it back on. I'm just going to help.
Bringing it back to point. I think it's just the nice part of the show. If anybody has got any comics that they've got doubles of and they're willing to swap with other members, or they just have 1 or 2 issues they're required to complete. As I say, mine are predominantly Roy the Rovers, which thankfully I've managed to complete now, and Football Picture Story Monthly, which I've got 2 of.
I was just going to say, so that's edition 176, and the title of that was Bad Blood, and edition 220, and that was Dirty Dealing.
That's the 2, that's for me. Thank you very much.
I wouldn't mind bringing Mal into this at some point. It will give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
I think you're getting a thumbs down. I can tell you what you're getting from Mal. Come on, go.
All right, blimey. I'm just wondering if you have any comics still, or not really.
No, Mal? Just really the ones with me in it, apart from one of the ones we've shown there when Roy came back. But just annuals, really. I was not knowing what I was doing at the time. I used to put out all of the favourite pictures in them, particularly Gordon Stewart, and put them in a scroll.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And anything I thought was absolutely amazing sort of artwork and great football action shot or whatever, I used to put into there. So I sort of, after just sort of, I'd read it a few times, as you do. I'd sort of turned them into just random scrapbook things. So no, I didn't really keep them. And I look back at that now and think, oh my word, what have I done?
But it's about making memories, though, isn't it?
You got enjoyment out of it, yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask, Mel,
Yeah,
do you still have those scrapbooks, or are they gone now as well?
No, absolutely not. I wasn't even that clever.
Well, we're kind of not quite, but this is how sad I am, and because of the pod, my little black book, and I used to write the scores and record the results and stupid things and the stories that they ran. And that one there is me recording Kevin Mouse's 100th ever goal, scoring for Princess Park.
My favorite
Wow.
character, by the way. That was my favorite story, and that was my favorite character, Kevin Mouse.
Yep.
Ah, brilliant. Yeah, Mighty Mouse, superb. Yeah.
So,
Is it
goal,
Marina?
collector's corner. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to mix this up. Oh, go on. What were you going to say there, Mal?
No. You carry on. You carry on, guys.
I thought you were waving. That's what Neil does on an audio podcast.
You've got competition, bygone.
I'll mix this up a little bit with My Girl's Got Issues, which this time is just the Roy the Rovers monthly, the continuation of the weekly comic, which ran for 19 issues. And it started in September 93 and ended in March 95. That's the monthly issue, just 19 issues. And incredibly, as we are recording this right now, I've just won live on eBay.
Are we going live over to eBay for a live countdown?
Yeah, we are. I'm just going live over to eBay. Hang on. Oh, I say, it's me, Dirty Cotton, live at eBay Central here. Actually, that sound didn't. I don't know. I have no idea what that sounded like. Anyway, shall I carry on now?
Yes.
Yeah, I just won the first 5 issues of the monthly. Now, I had.
Sorry, can I just interject? Sorry, I've just not won the first 5 issues of the monthly. Some bastard called at goal 15 Talkie are the best. I was in episode 30. I don't know the handle. It's just one of them apparently.
Yeah. It's funny. I thought you were going to say you already had them, but you were pushing the price up.
Sorry,
no, we used to do something on the forum where if we flagged up something, we'd actually tell each other to make sure that we weren't like bidding against each other and making it go too high. We sort of kind of took it in turns, which was quite a fair thing to do back in the day. But yeah, so I won issues 1 to 5. I already do have 4 and 5, but they were worse for wear, and I'm really glad from what I see in the pictures to be getting new copies. But winning that 1 to 5 means now I'm only missing 2 editions of the monthly, so I'm going to do a bygone here. If anyone has a spare or is willing to sell issues 17 and 19 of Roy the Rovers monthly, I will bite your hand off. I really like completing my collections. And talking about what I collect and have collected, I've got the complete Champ run, complete Buddy run, complete Spike run, complete Secret Wars run, all of the Rare 12, 15 rather, Screams, all of the Strikers. What else? And about 700 of the Roy the Rovers. So that probably will be, because all of my collection is in storage at the moment. When I get to all of that, that's going to be probably my big project to finish off getting the Roy the Rovers that I'm missing. And also another project that I'm doing at the moment, which we mentioned a couple of episodes ago, is the monthly ran alongside being in shoot. So I'm collecting those at the moment as well.
Right, just quickly, as I did with Bygone then. So for all of you out there, if you're prepared to help the man of 1,000 voices, most of whom are dead, that's the Royal Rovers Monthly, January 1995, issue 17, with Melandro on the cover in snow. And the headlines are Melandro dances into Melchester, Samba in the snow. And then it's edition 19, which was the last edition of the Royal Rovers Monthly, which is March 1995. And it's a picture of Roy Race on the cover. And the headline is The Rover Returns. So if anybody's willing to part or sell those to Goal, please get in touch.
I wouldn't mind adding one more thing as well.
Now there's a surprise. I'd say, was your favourite detective show Columbo?
Columbo. It is Columbo.
Just
one more thing.
Hang on. Just one more thing. And this ties in with Neil mentioning Rab as well. I forgot to mention the year that I collect the Football Picture Story monthlies as well. And Rab was very, very kind to me many moons ago, to whether he had doubles or I don't know. I can't remember if he was selling them up. Forgive me, I can't remember. He let me have a very high number of the Football Picture Story monthly. So thank you very much, Rab. And we hope you're well.
I think we're going to have to start nicknaming Rab the Godfather, actually, looking after everybody's collections. Right. Matt, is there any that you would like to?
Just waiting for Goal to come back in again. That's all right. I'm sure he's missed out something. No, all I was going to say is...
Hang on. Is that why you were laughing and smiling when I was talking? Because I was just going, yeah, I've got all of those.
No, it's just that whenever Paul tries to move on to the next section, you just jump in again. That's it.
Well, you know what I'm like. I'm giving Tangent a run for his money, really. And we have had conversations in the past about how he stores his collection, and I will be coming back to him because once I get my stuff out of storage, I will be wanting to put it on display in my new home.
Matt,
thank you, Paul. Cheers. Yes, I'll keep it brief. I think we should. I'm just going to talk about what I bought recently. So a few purchases I bought recently. I've bought these. I'm putting them on the screen here. Have you seen these?
Oh, yes, I'm aware of those. Yeah,
these are
Tiger
kind of
Sports. Yeah,
in the early 60s, the Tiger Sports Library. So just very much like the Football Picture Story monthlies. I bought a selection of those recently. So they're quite cool. I think there's only 12 of them. Annoyingly, I've got 11. So if anyone's got the 12th one, I'll probably pay money. Well, I would pay money for that one. Rab, clearly, if Rab's got one.
Yeah, Rab, if you're listening, Rab, guess what?
You seem to have looked after everybody else. And then a couple of other purchases. So I've got a couple of shirts behind me. I've got the McDonald's shirt there, which was the last. I got that recently off of eBay. And then there's the Gola shirt, which was recently a guy on Facebook is doing some reproductions of those as well. So
a round of applause from Mal then.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's a bit of a tight squeeze, particularly the one with the McDonald's on. So you probably won't see me modelling it, or you probably won't want to see me modelling it, but it's in the collection anyway.
Okay, I have to say I've got a Gola shirt as well, which I've mentioned from the Gola shirt in Carnaby Street, and let's just. I don't think it's meant to be a slim fit, but it's very snug, and I don't put it on very often unless I really need to. It's not very flattering.
I got a shirt for Christmas all those years ago.
Oh, brilliant!
And one of the things I remember about it more than anything else was the Gola wasn't printed on. It was almost like a velvety touch.
Yeah,
that was
that's right.
Stuck on. It was bizarre.
Yeah,
did it come off in the wash, or was it?
Absolutely, it did. But then again, I did wear it 1,000 times. So it was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, sadly, man, I got mine when I was an adult, far too old to be purchasing replica fictional football team jerseys.
Hey, let's not forget Ridders. Ridders has a replica Riverton United shirt.
Yep, which he designed himself.
Yeah. I'm glad that I don't have any replica shirts because being 6'6", as you know, And when I put mine on, I look like a hotshot Hamish with it just coming above my belly button, you know?
You say you're 6'6". We've never seen you.
Exactly.
You've
Yeah.
got 3'3".
Yeah, well, you know, it would ruin the impressions, wouldn't it?
It would.
Right, I'm gonna finish that off just because Goal mentioned obviously the Royal Rovers Monthly. At the same time, Shoot magazine. So the story was appearing in the monthly edition, but then in the weeks between the monthlies, it was also appearing in Shoot magazine, and it appeared in 54 of the Shoot magazines from 15th of January 1994 to the 21st of January 1995. I'm not going to go through my list of everything that I've got, to be quite honest. I'm just going to leave it there. But I've still got, what I will say is I still need 875 comics to complete my collection, and they're across Action, Victor and Tiger, and Eagle and Tiger as well. Goal, you were going to interrupt me.
Yeah, I was just going to add one of the Shoot ones. The week before it started in Shoot, there was a special booklet attached, which I've shown you guys, which was the Roy the Rovers, the story so far. So that was in a week before the first issue that Roy the Rovers appeared in Shoot.
8th of January 1994.
That's the one. Lovely.
Right.
We're nutcases about our comics, aren't we?
Do you know, right?
Amazing.
I've just seen as well. I don't know if you knew about this one, Tangent. Going on eBay, there's a comic called All Action Monthly.
Yes. Yeah.
And they did like compilation stories.
Marx Brothers.
Marx Brothers, Simon's Secret.
Well, I didn't know about Simon's Secret, but I actually had got the one of the Marx Brothers. Yeah.
I think they only lasted about 6-7 issues, but I didn't know if any of the listeners were aware of
God.
He's
Yeah.
gone into his comics just for Christ's sake.
Can't find it. Cannot find it.
He's gone into his collection.
You know,
Well, just I know. Sorry, I know this
There we
doesn't work on the audio podcast, but we do appear on the YouTube. So there's the booklet that Goal was
Yes.
mentioning, which is in the 8th of January 1994 Shoot, and actually there you go. All Action Monthly. September 1987. That was number 8, and then we got the Marx Brothers story. And I've actually got another one there, which was Talon of the Track, which of course I'm a bit of a Speedway fan, and that's number 7.
Yeah.
And Tops on Two Wheels is actually number 1 on that.
Yeah.
But those are quite interesting. For others, just to mention as well, I don't know if you guys are aware of these. There's the Red Dagger series as well.
Yes.
And we've mentioned this. Number 1, of course, is the Twisty. And that's the only one of those that I've got.
And also Cast Iron Bill, which you could say is a sort of precursor to Iron Bar.
Yeah, that was in the Red Dagger as well. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Hey, Mal,
well, I can see.
Look at us all. You know, we're all nutcases for comics.
You know, I was about to jump in, but you're in the middle of sort of going through it. And I was absolutely fascinated by Paul's in particular there, because I'm known as the sort of local nerd of grassroots football, of junior grassroots football. I know who's played where, how many times, how many goals, assists, who's done what in about 15, 16 different teams and clubs around sort of the area I'm at. And I'm known for spreadsheets and graphs and name me a player. That's who does this, that, and the other. I'm one of those. And the parents take the mick out of me for it, but it's done me really well. We've got a bunch of kids who are playing way above where they should be. I bow in front of the absolute gods of this. This is quite remarkable what I can see here.
Well, in all honesty, you know, when I'm pulling out those dates, is because I've got another screen and I've got my own website, and I've scanned the majority of my comics. And so when the guys are talking, I quickly jump onto that website and I kind of pull the dates off and things like that. So that's
I've got a whiteboard on the wall here because I'm a teacher.
Yeah,
I've got little things scribbled on there. I can see it.
Well, do you know something? Just to really, so that, as we say each episode, we are not professionals. We are just nerds and fans. And I wasn't going to share this, but I spoke to Goal off earlier on, and I travelled for work this week. And as I was waiting for the Eurostar and I'm showing it to the guys, I thought, oh, I was very early for my train. So I just opened my book and I started writing down Manchester Rovers goalkeepers. I wrote down 9 goalkeepers. I got 11 defenders I wrote down, 24 midfielders, and I got up to 14 forwards from the history of Manchester Rovers. So listeners, that's what I do to pass the time when I'm bored.
Oh, I bet you've got Rapper Bloody Hardesty in there, haven't you, you bastard?
Well, unfortunately, I know you don't like it. He played for Manchester, so he's got to be in the list. Right, I'm seeing the 4th official, and I think we're even close to the end of the added-on time, to be quite honest. So I'm going to get you to give out the address of how our little podcast, although it's not so little more, I mean, crikey, what podcast can interview an Olympic champion? You know?
Olympic champion.
We're right up there now. So come on, Goal. How our gigantic podcast started.
Yeah, you mean the forum?
Social
yes.
medias, yeah.
Yeah. We our forum is champweareunited.proboards.com. As we always say, around 55,000 posts. It's more of a reference site now because obviously, as the others will tell you in a second, most of the interactions take place on the Facebook pages, which is still great, but it is just a overwhelmingly vast amount of information, everything you could imagine, and not just football, comics, Marvel, everything. champweareunited.proboards.com, and that evolved into this podcast.
Thanks, Goal. If it's all right with everybody, I'll go through, but I might look to Matt for a bit of inspiration here for the several Facebook groups. So, of course, we've got our own, which is Champ We Are United and Football Picture Story Monthly Fans. Then, of course, there's the brilliant Roy the Rovers comic 40 years on, in brackets Manchester Rovers, and friend of the show, Ed Taylor, who we also interviewed some time ago, who created that. And then, of course, we don't always mention this, but I'm going to try and make a point that we do. Striker World as well is a great Facebook page. And then, Matt, I think I get this right, The Mighty World of British Comics as well is another great Facebook group. And I think those are the main Facebook groups that we're involved in, and we certainly share the podcast there. And of course, guess what? I never know what to call it. Is it X? Is it Twitter? I still haven't signed up. I hear everybody says stay off of it, but apparently it's worthwhile getting on there just to hear the latest from Barry Tomlinson. Matt, tell us all about it.
Well, Mal's on there, so it's well worth getting on there. So it's at champ_R, so at champ_RARE.
Excellent. X, look at that, hosting the Electro Olympics champion. Right.
I thought Bygone Berrigan was going to do the socials.
Thank God I bought this.
Well, I'm going to go over to Mal as we say our goodbyes. Mal, I hope you've enjoyed our company. How have you found it?
Absolutely superb. Not normally how I spend my Sunday evening, but then again, I did spend my Sunday afternoon in Hull, so anything's better than that. Really, really good. Your knowledge, all of you, is beyond wow. Your knowledge is amazing. It was enjoyable being able to tell me story on a big stage. To be fair, every single word of it is true. Honestly, Father John Caden, look him up. He's there.
Brilliant.
And it was absolutely fantastic, and it was just it was yeah. I mean, Twitter's a cesspit. Let's be fair. It's horrible.
It is.
But there's some things that are amazingly funny, and there's some things that bring all these. I wouldn't have found Barry. I wouldn't have found this without any of that. And I've had a wonderful night, a brilliant night. To hear some of the things you said to me is really nice as well, because it's difficult sharing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't want this to be a sort of me sort of outpouring or anything like that. But that was tough. But it was wonderful to hear it back, and to have other people who've loved the comic as much as I have. And I genuinely loved it. It was I started off being coming across it because people in my street used to buy it, and I got it second hand. and I would have to read it after them because they were older than me, and I was a little boy, and so on, and then getting into it, and then all of this happening. It's absolutely fantastic, and to have people carry this on all the way through, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. You made a 53-year-old man who's 54 in 2 days' time very happy.
No,
Oh, so
brilliant.
you would have had your birthday
Yes, I was in Fort Lauderdale. Yes, it was. Yeah, we were getting ready to go to Orlando the next day. Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing.
Happy
Well,
birthday for 2 days' time.
do you know
Yeah,
something,
thank
Mel? We've thoroughly enjoyed having you on the show and speaking about your prize. But I know you're in contact with Matt, and personally, we didn't touch upon it, but I'd love to actually see you back and actually get more of your actual thoughts about the comics and the stories that you enjoyed and the characters and stuff. But that can be hopefully for a future episode, and I'll leave Matt to discuss that with you. Matt, your thoughts?
Well, just amazing, and thank you so much, Mal, for coming on and sharing what an incredible story. It's, as we said, highs and incredible lows. But wow, I'm sure listeners will really appreciate you kind of, just relaying that story. So it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic meeting you as well. So yeah, really enjoyable. Yeah, thank you.
Go.
Well, I mean, I said everything I needed to say earlier, but a real joy to have you on, and a very enjoyable episode. That's the serious side of me. Now, I would just like to discuss with you about your what it was like living in Victorian times. Oh, sorry, that's Charles Dickens. I'm
All right.
sorry.
Oh, gosh almighty. And
I'll
thank
get
you,
it.
listeners. That's goodbye from goal. Bygone, your thoughts?
Again, a really entertaining show, and it's been lovely to, as I've already said, touch base with somebody who won what is no doubt the biggest competition I think that was probably ever run during that time, and it was across multiple magazines as well and comics. So it's been fantastic talking to you. Just one question: was you allowed to enter any more competitions after that, or did you not enter any more? Or was it you just
I don't
realised I've
recall
hit the
that
big
many.
jackpot?
I don't recall that many after it, to be honest. And if I did, I certainly didn't win them. No.
No, they
And I
didn't put
certainly,
like a bar on
this
you.
competition. No, I wasn't bad, but there certainly wasn't. I'm hanging by that. I never thought about it, but I'm hanging by. I'm still the reigning
You are.
Yeah.
Mattel Electro Olympic champion.
If that's what on your email signature at work, then I'm disappointed.
I'll be honest with you, it would be on the
Within 10
headline of my
minutes.
CV.
Why have I never done this?
No. Well, as again, it's been lovely to chat with you, the Mal, and hopefully the listeners will have enjoyed it as well. I've really enjoyed tonight's show.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Cool.
I
Right,
know,
go. I knew it. Go on.
I thought Neil was doing all the social medias this time because last episode he said he had them all written down ready.
I've
Yeah,
revised.
but that's
I've
the whole
revised them
point.
all.
That's the whole point. We're waiting for when we know he hasn't got them written down to see if he can do
true.
it under pressure. I thought you knew that.
He didn't offer anything up this time, so I just like to throw over to Neil before we go, and I'm going to put him on the spot here and ask him to do the Landosphere website address, please.
The which one?
Exactly. Sorry, just thought I'd wind you up. Move on.
Right, this has definitely been episode 90. We are more than in injury time. I'm just going to say a massive thanks actually to Goal and Rabbi for starting this podcast and for being, like Mal, actually initially invited on as a guest. I can't believe I've had the privilege of interviewing the likes of Barry Tomlinson, David Skew, Pete Nash, Paul Trevelyan, and who'd have thought it? I've finally got to interview an Olympic champion. That's right, the 1983 Mattel Electro Olympic champion, Malcolm Dickenson. Nobody's ever taken that title away from him. And that has been episode 90. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
And he's waving again.
Can I just say, Mal, I've just